गुरुर्ब्रह्मा गुरुर्विष्णुः गुरुर्देवो महेश्वरः गुरु साक्षात् परं ब्रह्म तस्मै श्री गुरवे नमः तस्मै श्री गुरवे नमः तस्मै श्री गुरवे नमः. We are in Amritanubhav, chapter 5, Satchidananda Padatrayi Vivarna, and we are on 25th verse or 24th verse. We'll just start from 24th. Or the mirror goes away after having revealed the face, or as the person after having awakened the sleep, one goes away. Here we are talking about how the words, the language is important to reveal the truth, because the truth, the reality, the pure consciousness, the self is self-revealed. The words cannot reveal it. Then what are the words used for? The words are utilized by the scriptures, or in this particular chapter, the words Satchit Anand are used to counteract, to make the opposites important. So what is the opposite of Sat? Asat. What is the opposite of Chit? Achit. And what is the opposite of Anand? Dukkham. So language or the words are used only to counteract the opposite, not to reveal the truth. Then what will happen when the counteraction is done? What will happen? The mind will become calm, mind will be thought free, mind will become silent. And in that silence, the one who is in that silence is you. In the absence of all the thoughts, the one who is there, that's you. That's the pure consciousness. That's the reality. But we are so obsessed with thoughts, words, that we don't see beyond it. And whom do you see beyond it? Yourself, that you are the one who is beyond the words. The words, whether they come or don't come, you are not affected. Where do the words appear? They appear in waking and dream. Are there words in the deep sleep? No. So are you disturbed in the deep sleep because there are no words? No. In fact, you are the one who is not disturbed, affected, influenced by the appearance of the words or the absence of the words, which is in deep sleep. So recognize yourself to be that. Where do you recognize this, bring this about? Right here and now, only in the waking state. And in the waking state, here and now. So don't be obsessed with anything too much. So in this way, Satchit Ananda and Atma wake us up to our own essential nature and then disappear. They don't bring it about, but they bring us to the threshold and then they disappear, because we are already that, only imagining ourselves to be, just as to be the individual, just as woman is already a woman, but imagining herself to be mother, daughter, sister. Man is already a man, imagining himself to be a father, brother, son. Similarly, the self is already the self. Imagining itself to be what? Body, breath, mind, intellect. And as a result of that, identified with the body, breath, mind, intellect. As a result, what? Imagining itself to be a jiva, imagining itself to be the ego, imagining itself to be the one who is coming and going. In fact, its essential nature is that of self-abidance. It doesn't, and self-knowledge. After giving so many examples, the thought is now concluded. Taise Satchidananda Chokata Dauni Drashtaya Drashta Tinhi Pade Lagati Vata Maunachiya. In the same way, the three terms Satchidananda, having revealed the essential nature to the seeker, attain silence. I just told you. After counteracting the opposites, then what remains? They self-cancel each other, then what remains? Silence. But what is it? Is it an inert silence or is it a conscious silence? Because of your habit of thinking, even in silence you will say, oh, there is nothing there. Oh, there is void. Oh, there is, what do I do now? There is nothing to interact with. Even if I am wanting to think, I am not able to think. And you create a mess for yourself. Instead of being the one, the illuminator of silence, we go into this wrong path and then create a psychological problem. In the same way, that is, as the examples given in OV 21 to 24, the three words Satchidananda, having revealed their essential nature to the seeker, disappear. The words Satchidananda do not reveal. So here the language you have to understand a little bit. The word Satchidananda, having revealed their essential nature to the seeker, disappear. So what is the revelation of the essential nature of Satchidananda? The essential nature of the word Satchidananda is only because of the opposites. And once the opposites we have focused on them, the opposites have been silenced or transcended, then we don't need to hold on to Satchidananda also, then they also disappear. Last week we told you, just as the thought of sleep disappears when there is no disturbance of the waking in the mind, waking or dream in the mind, and then you go into total blankness, which you call as sleep. In the nature to the seeker, disappear in the only place in which sound can disappear. Where can sound disappear? Silence. How do you know, sir? Practice. Vaikhari madhyama pashyanti para. Practice. Or understand. If you can't understand, then practice. Mere collection of information will not lead us to our own essential nature. So when these type of statements are made, it must be our own direct experience. You must be absolutely clear. In the only place in which sounds can disappear. What is the effect and what is the cause? In our total experience of a day, deep sleep, waking and dream, deep sleep is the cause and waking and dream is the effect. So where have they come from, the waking and dream? How do you know there is waking and dream? Because you have got words called waking and dream. In the waking, all the interactions, transactions that you are doing, relationships that you are creating, desires that you are having, why are they all there? What is the basis of all the transactions? You have to be awake for that. And that conviction you have in your mind that I am awake, therefore all the transactions. But what is the, so for all the transactions in the waking, the source is the waker, the waking world and the waking experience. That's the total and all encompassing. Just like all waves are encompassed in the ocean. Same way, waker, waking world and the waking experience encompass all the transactions within the waking world. Same also in the dream. But where did the waking experience and the dream experience emanate from? What is their source? Their source is the deep sleep. Then next question will be, what is the source of waking dream? What is the source of deep sleep? Because we are intelligent people, we will ask, what is the source of deep sleep? If you want to think in that way, because you got an itch to understand, because you are not accepting yourself as the self, then the story is given that the deep sleep is part of the avyakta, the unmanifest, the total unmanifest. Then where did the total unmanifest come from? Then the story is given, the total unmanifest or Maya or Avyakta is inseparable from the Ishvara. Where did the Ishvara and Maya come from? Then another story is given, it came from the truth. Where is the truth? The story is told, you are the truth. तेरी की सारा घूम घाम के फिर मेरे ऊपर ही आके डाल दिया. देखो. So rather than create a long journey, you don't have to go into deep sleep to recognize that you are the avyakta. You cannot, because in deep sleep you can't think. So we have to understand the principle. Principle is a thought-free state is called silence. Deep sleep is also silence under the spell of ignorance. We want to experience silence while remaining conscious, not remaining unconscious to the mind. We want to be witnessing. See? And that this thinking, because we have already done, remember the sequence of the chapters. We have already done Vaikhari Madhyama Pasyanti Para. That chapter has already happened, isn't it? So, a sadhak has already been practicing or is practicing or has practiced. And therefore, these words do not seem difficult to understand, or what they are suggesting is not a far-fetched idea, because by practicing Vaikhari Madhyama Pasyanti Para, gross speech, subtle speech, causal speech and transcendental speech. Transcendental speech is silence. Then these words start having meaning when the teacher is explaining. Therefore, the highest sadhana is listening to the silence deeply and intensely. What happens to us when we listen to silence? We start snoring. So that must not happen. You are sitting in meditation and keep rocking. No. And so that we do not go to sleep, so that we don't go into that slumber in meditative position, asana, sitting cross-legged on the asana, either you are knocking yourself and bringing yourself out of sleep because naturally the body is going down and suddenly you wake up, or you have practiced sitting straight, spine is straight, but you have gone into sleep. So, how not to go into sleep? Those people who practice that Vaikhari, why? Someone yesterday or day before yesterday, someone called, why can't I chant mantra in my mind? Why I have to chant loudly? If I chant loudly, very quickly it goes. No, we must again and again with full awareness keep chanting the name at our lips. Don't chant it in your mind. If it is naturally pulling you in and you don't have energy to chant in the loudly, then it's a different matter. But as long as we are conscious and we are putting efforts, we must put efforts only at the Vaikhari level. Then what about in the mind? In the mind it should happen as ajapajap. It should not happen by you wanting, desiring to chant the mantra in the mind. It should not happen that way. But sometimes it happens, what can you do? So whenever you catch yourself, bring yourself back to loud chanting or Vaikhari. So, and if we are doing that, therefore the high, and when we remain awake to the Vaikhari, we are listening to our mantra chanting, we are awake, we are inspired, we are with the bhav. If we are chanting any Lord's name, do it with bhav. That will keep you wakeful as well as surrendered. See, with this knowledge that by His gratitude alone, by His grace alone, that we are able to remember Him and moving towards Him, and He alone is the purifier, and so all that data. With that total disposition, you chant. And when naturally, without your wanting, because you are focused on Vaikhari, not wanting. If you are doing it correctly, automatically, after some time, without you knowing, silence will ensue, everything will stop. Then listen to the silence deeply and intensely, meaning do not go to sleep when the silence ensues. If the previous two are not practiced, Vaikhari Madhyama are not practiced, to remain awake in the silence is a difficult proposition. Because we are so used over the years and lifetimes that no thoughts mean sleep. So remain, train your mind. We have got nothing to do with the self, because nothing can be done to the self. Self is self. All sadhana is only to reformat the mind so that it becomes silent without going to sleep. And then what will happen? Then after that, whether it is silent or whether it is busy, you are unaffected because you have come to recognize who you are. Then what happens by chanting this Vaikhari Madhyama Pashyanti Para and listening to silence? You learn to remain in the silence without initiating any thought. Without initiating any thought. for a considerable period of time, maybe 2 minutes, 1 minute, then 5 minutes, then 10 minutes, then 15, 20, half an hour. And if that listening to silence, remaining in silence consciously, even at a sadhaka level, when you come from there into the samadhi breaks or you come out, the japa stops and again you have to do something in the world, that ability to remain silent will continue for some time. Just like your hunger, once you have eaten food, you are fulfilled, it remains for some time till afterwards again the hunger comes. Similarly, for some time this abidance that you had, abidance or remaining in the silence consciously, not getting affected by anything because there is nothing. Then when you come out of that meditation, then you are not disturbed by anything in this world. If you are getting disturbed, understand you went to sleep. You were not meditating. These are the signs. I want to go to the Himalayas, I want to go to the ashram, I want to go to a cave, I want to run away from my family. I'm talking to grahasthas. If it has happened naturally and you have gone on the life has taken you there, it's a different matter. But if we have been desiring, I want to do this, I want to do that, I want to go into silence, I want to meditate, we are running away. We are running away. From whom? From ourselves. We are running away from ourselves. Wherever we are, as we are, you practice 24/7 chanting the mantra Om Ramanaya Namaha, Arunachala Shiva, Arunachala Shiva, Om Namah Shivaya, whatever mantra, Om. But chant. Let it become your second nature, that all the time your mouth is continuously uttering that. फिर तो मजा आएगा. Therefore, the highest sadhana is listening to the silence deeply and intensely. Deeply and intensely means not initiating any thoughts, but being available to the silence without any expectation. Without any, because if there is expectation, then you will try to format some words to communicate this experience to yourself. Oh, I think I am very deep in the silence now. Gaya, silence is gone if that thought is coming. Oh, there are no thoughts in the mind. Gone, again the silence is gone. Is this the silence? Am I the self in the silence? Oh, again the silence is gone. Remain in silence means there is no interruption, there is no initiation of thoughts. Then how do you listen? That you get there and you will tell me. We have already told you before. What is behind everything? Action, sound, knowledge, behind the meaning of Satchidananda, that is I. When we develop this vision, these words lead to the very silence that is the core of one's being, where there is no agitation, nothing contrary to one's own essential nature. That is Amrita Anubhav, the experience of immortality. This silence becomes full. This silence becomes full if our attention is I am contemplating Vaikhari Madhyama Pashyanti, Para, silence. When I am chanting Now there is silence, there is nothing to chant. As long as I am thinking of silence, that there is nothing, still, then that is Nirvikalpa Samadhi. Then what is to happen? When we listen to the silence, as Swamiji says here, deeply, intensely, we come to realize that there is nothing but me. And this is thought-free realization. I am still there, no? If all this is not there, the I is still there. In silence, what happens in silence? This I becomes available to itself. Because how long you were holding on to who am I, who am I, who am I? If that was your mantra, or Om was the mantra, how long? As long as this was a disturbance. Now this is no longer a disturbance. Then do you need to ask who am I? I am already. Then why am I asking who am I? Because I am stupid. The moment the who am I question goes away, the moment the mantra goes away, because it has counteracted, the Sat has counteracted Asat, the Chit has counteracted Achit, the Anand has counteracted the Dukkham, the Nitya has counteracted Anitya, Shuddha has counteracted Ashuddha, Buddha has counteracted Abuddha, Mukta has counteracted Amukta. The word Swarup has counteracted Aswarupa. No words. All the words have become, they were being utilized by the mind only to counteract their opposites. When all of them have gone, then do I need to contemplate on that mantra? No. Then the thought, we are talking about the thought. The thought of the I also will drop away. Then what is remaining? Dropping of the I means what? This is what is mean, dropping of the I, thought. Then what is that? It is a thought-free I experience. Another way of putting self-realization, thought-free I experience. What do you are? This is how the language is. Thoughts are only for the mind. And you are beyond the mind. Therefore, what is the last thought in the mind after everything? I. Then that thought also has to die, or has to dissolve. It will melt away when the last object about which it was contemplating, when that also drops away, then the I thought also drops away. This you have to, I can keep talking about it, but until and unless one doesn't practice Vaikhari Madhyama Pashanti Para, these fine realizations, the dispositions that I am talking about, that will not become your own. Even though all this is happening even right now to you, between two thoughts. But we don't have the I. We have not developed that vision. To develop that vision, we have to practice. Or be totally convinced in what the teacher is telling here. Then there is no doubt. Where there is no doubt, then everything is over. We doubt. We not only doubt the scriptures, the teacher, we doubt our own ability. That is where the problem is. Acha, मैं सच्चिदानंद नहीं. If I last 2 days I am telling Pranam Maharaj, Pranam Mate, Pranam this, Pranam Prabhu, people cringe when you call them that way. No, I am not Mahatma, you are Mahatma. Abbe, we have to be comfortable with ourselves being the infinite one. If you yourself are doubting, we don't have to go and declare to the world, because that is not your direct experience yet, and it is not something to be declared to the world. But in the heart of hearts, this conviction that yes, I am the infinite one, only I don't know it. In my knowledge about it is incomplete, and I'm working towards it. फिर तो कुछ आगे बढ़ेगी बात. Otherwise, if we keep thinking I'm not the Satchidanand Swarup, I'm not the self, no, I'm the wife, I'm the husband, I'm the jiva, I'm the soul, I'm the sevaka, I am the seeker. Yes, we should be all that, but not be attached to all that. Let the roles go on. When we develop this vision, these words lead to the very silence that is the core of one's being. What is the vision? Vision, what I am explaining, what Swamiji is explaining, we are explaining for last half an hour. The ability, what we have told you? Practice Vaikhari only. Let it be a natural glide into Madhyama and Para. It should not be Madhyama and Para by your will, by your desire. This vision. Develop this vision that when the sound migrates from Vaikhari to Madhyama, understand nothing in the resulting experience is, observation is, that nothing in the waking world disturbs us. If something is still disturbing us from the waking world, understand Vaikhari has not purified yet. Somewhere the desire to expedite the process of migration from Vaikhari to Madhyama came about as a result of our desire. These are nuances that we have to catch. We have to observe. And when you are observing not other people, you observe yourself. How do we know? What I just said, how do I know? Because we practice, so we know. How do you perfect cooking? Because you practice cooking. You can't keep reading books and perfect yourself. Become perfect in cooking. You can't keep reading the recipes and say, I know how to make cake. And when the actual thing to make the cake comes, it's a big mess. So also exercise. No, I know all the exercise. I know all the asanas. I know, we got information about everything. But until and unless you don't do the asana, or you don't go to the gym and pick up the weights, and in the great inspiration you start, and after that next 10 days you are not able to go to gym or do any asana. Why? You overdid it. So it is your own direct experience that I must do it. I must slowly increase the momentum. I must slowly increase the duration of exercise. I must not overdo it. Now that will become your direct experience. But we don't learn. I must eat only as much is required by the body. And we eat. Oh, dosa, yeah, and then after that, oh, I need a coffee to digest the dosa. Today I ate a bit over. I should have stopped after 2. I ate 5. But this dialogue you have been making for 30-40 years. So where is the learning? Because we are living and robotic life. We are not living life with awareness. When you chant with awareness, then everything will become available. That awareness will infiltrate every activity of yours. Then you speak with awareness, you see, hear, touch, feel with awareness, you think with awareness, you talk with awareness, you walk with awareness, you cook with awareness. You are with anyone in this world or nobody in this world, but you don't stop being aware. That comes by practicing Vaikhari. It will not just come by like that. Very rare few people are there because of their Purva Janma Karma. We have to hard yaka. You have to work hard towards it. What is that? Vaikhari. With awareness, not mechanically, with awareness. We have to be aware that who is chanting, who is listening to the words, who is chanting. When we develop this vision, these words lead to the very silence that is the core of one's being. Where there is no agitation. So I have put this word agitation in different words, but you understand it. There is no agitation, there is no thought eruption, there is no doubt, there is no distraction, there is no desire, there is no urge to communicate the experience of silence to yourself, that I am experiencing the silence. This urge is not there. Because if this statement comes, then you have lost the silence. Where there is no agitation, nothing contrary to one's essential nature. Nothing contrary to one's unessential nature. Then when that happens, see if you are meditating and when you listen to this language, it seems that we go into silence. We also explain that way, and we went into Nirvikalpa Samadhi. Nirvikalpa Samadhi is silence. But then realization did not happen. I came out of Nirvikalpa Samadhi. So we are not talking about the silence of Nirvikalpa Samadhi. Then what is happening in Nirvikalpa Samadhi? In Nirvikalpa Samadhi, the duality is still there within the mind. Purification is not complete. Meaning what? Nirvikalpa Samadhi is dharana and dhyan and then samadhi. In dharana, you go beyond the space. Dhyana, you go beyond time. And in samadhi, technically, if self-abidance has to happen, we have to go beyond objectivity. We have to go beyond objectivity. But because of the impurities have not been cleared, because we took a shortcut, we had a desire to jump into samadhi. Then what happens? The objectivity remains. And because of that objectivity, remainder of objectivity, you go into the silence, but when you come out, the world as separate to you continues to be your norm. Whereas for a realized master, once he comes and touches himself, he is himself in that silence, and then the mind again clicks back in, my senses again open up, then wherever he sees, is he alone? He doesn't see anything as different. देखो, ये सब you have to catch these things. Why it is not happening? Are we addicted to samadhi? Are we addicted to meditation? Because that addiction is always that which comes and goes. So you need to take the dose, you need to take the drug, you need to take the alcohol, you need to take whatever you are addicted to again and again and again. Is that not meditation? Again and again and again? Repetition. Why? You have made it into an objective experience of bliss. This objectivity has to go away in order for realization to happen, in order for self to reveal. See, it's a very fine thing what we are talking about here. Unless you are not practicing, you will not understand. Unless you have faith, unless you have surrender to that ultimate one, to the infinite reality, it will not happen. Because I know better. Who are you to teach me? I sit in meditation every day. I know. See. So when such a master comes out into this world, the world may be on fire, but he is not affected. Because in his vision, nothing is other, everything is the self. Everything is the self. Remember, the whole world is only in the mind, by way of thoughts. What you did by Vaikhari Madhyama Pashyanti Para, you dissolved all the thoughts, came to the threshold of realization, then drop, and that is the I thought. Then I thought is also dropped. I thought was where? It was in the mind. So first you dropped, you kept focusing in the mind on your mantra or on the I thought. Why did you focus on it? In order to drop away, neutralize all the objective thoughts. What were the objective thoughts about? About Anatma, about the world, everything other than the self. And once they were completely neutralized, including the word silence, including the word void, nothing, emptiness, everything has to be neutralized. Not that you are trying to neutralize, you are only focusing on the self. The neutralizing will keep happening. Just like when you go to sleep, everything is neutralized from the waking. Then what happens? Then once the I thought is also dropped, then only you are. Because now there is no silence also. Before you were listening to the silence deeply. You are available to the silence as the silence. Now you are not even available to that because you are the subject is contemplating on the subject as the object, which is not possible. So even that silence drops away. This is the transformation of the vision. The mind is illuminated by the light of consciousness. What is mind? When is the moon available on the ocean? When all the waves have subsided, isn't it? Then that reflected moon is so bright, you can see so many things. But if there are too many waves, it will be dark because the moon's light is not able to reflect. It is broken up into so many waves or hijacked by so many waves. Similarly, our mind, when it becomes silent, because mind is nothing but consciousness, because mind cannot be a separate entity from the self. It's all imagination. It's all a mithya. But that is what the tool we had. And once we come to abide, that, because this phenomena is there, what can you do about it? So this mind which is thought free becomes illuminated by the light from the self. In other words, the pure self at the phenomenal level, if you want to, I can only explain it like this. The self is now clearly, fully, exactly, completely, without any aberration, reflecting in the empty mind. And this is your realization. And what is your realization? You are not saying that my mind is now filled up with the light of self that I am. No. Your realization is you alone are. This is only a way of explanation. Then when that, after realization, when that mind again clicks in, meaning again the thoughts start appearing in the mind. Now that mind which was pervaded by ignorance before, now it is pervaded by the light of consciousness, and it is your direct experience. Then whatever the thoughts are coming in the mind, because the whole world is only by way of thoughts in the mind. Now whatever thoughts are coming in the mind are nothing but of the self, and therefore that Mahatma does not see the world as separate from himself. Just like the water doesn't see the ocean and the wave as separate from itself. In fact, he doesn't even use the word. For him to use the word water and wave and ocean, he has to take the form of the ocean, totality, Ishvara. See? If you understood, good. Because it's nothing to be understood. I am blabbering on and you are also sincerely listening. Practice, bhaiya, practice. Our focus must be on practice with awareness. All the consequent steps automatically happen or may not happen. If the grace is there, it will click straight away. But don't expect it. Expectation should be there, mumukshutvam should be there, only till we are not, till we are not firm in the practice. And till what time do you practice? Till the last moment. You have to be firm. Otherwise, any time the world will pull you back into itself. How the speech is incapable of describing or defining the truth. I have already spoken about it. Now this is coming. Z- Ze ze boli ze te nave hoyate tavana bolave sauli vari na mavave mavite zaise. All that is said by speech is not the truth, and the truth is that which cannot be spoken of. As by measuring the length of a shadow, the height of a person cannot be measured. Hmm? It is anirvachaniya. The truth is anirvachaniya. Vachana, speech. It's beyond speech. Speech cannot reach it. Speech cannot talk about the self. So when we are talking about the self, Atma, Brahman, it is only to bring the focus of the mind to its source. That's all. Because it has imagined that it is separate from it. Why it is feeling that it is separate from it? Because it is experiencing miseries. He wants to experience bliss. And mind understands only the language. What to do? So the only way to make the mind understand, to reformat it, is because mind is nothing but thoughts. So mind has to be reformatted by way of thoughts. Now the choice of thoughts is necessary, and that's why it is said, be exposed to satsangs on a daily basis. Whatever is spoken about the truth is not the truth. Kathopanishad says it is a wonder of wonders that there is a speaker who can speak about that which is beyond speech. Ascharyavat bhavati kaschidena. It is a wonder of wonders that the teacher is speaking about that which cannot be spoken of, and the student is understanding that which is beyond the mind. And the drama is going on. This is called Leela. Don't get frustrated by these words. This is the Leela. Leela means do it joyfully. The teacher is thinking that the students are understanding, and the students are making the teacher believe that they are under drama chal raha hai. Ho kuch nahi raha hai. This is from the highest standpoint. Now, अच्छा ऐसे है, so tomorrow I will not listen. क्या फर्क पड़ता है? Get to that point, then it is dropped. And Paramatma is Ascharyavat. One looks upon it as a marvel, another speaks of it as a marvel. It is beyond our imagination what it is, because all our imaginations are only by way of thoughts, and the Paramatma, the self, is beyond thoughts. So Ascharyavat, it is a wonder of wonders that which is beyond the thoughts, beyond the words, is being pulled down to make it cognizable, to make it relatable by way of words. How can you put, you see the word infinity? Infinity means that which is larger than the largest, with no boundaries, no parameters. What have you understood? No, that sky is infinite. What do you mean by that? You don't have the experience. Your experience is only that you can't see the boundary. But you don't know how vast the sky is just because you can't see the boundary. But you have not experienced it yet. But we understand infinity, infinity. As long as you understand, it's a concept, it's an idea, it's an imagination. Self is not an imagination. That sky is infinite, it is outside of you, you can see it, and still you can't experience it. This self, which is infinite's Bap, is more pervasive than the sky. It's immediate, it's right here and now. You don't need to go out, look away from yourself like you have to do for the sky. It's here, it's you, not even here. When I say here, then you will start looking in the body. No, it's you who are in essence infinite, imagining yourself to be finite. This imagination is in the mind, and that needs to be dissolved. All the scriptures, whether you take Buddha Marg, whether you take Vedanta, whether you take Vishishta Advait or Dvait, Jainism, anything, every path given in our Sanatan Dharma is only to dissolve the mind, not to create the divinity. Divinity is self-established, and therefore it is a wonder. The second wonderful aspect of the truth is that it is beyond comprehension of the intellect. Yato vacho nivartante aprapya manasa saha. Aprapya. Mind cannot comprehend it. Comprehension of the intellect. And yet, when we are talking, you are listening. I am talking about that which cannot be talked about. So beyond speech, this is a wonder. And I don't get tired. For last 25 years I have been talking with the same inspiration. कहाँ से आता है पता नहीं, बेवकूफ हूँ शायद बड़ा. And then you are also listening. What are you saying? Listening. You are comprehending. You are saying, yes, I understood that. Yes, I understood this. That is also another wonder, that you are able to understand that which is beyond the mind. But it is only through the intellect that it can be comprehended. So, as I told you, we can dissolve the mind only by the mind. We can dissolve the thoughts only by the thoughts. So if we have certain concept in our intellect that we are an individual, then another concept that we are infinite, we are the conscious self, will help us to dissolve the concept that I am limited, I was born, I am going to die, I am this body, and I have a past and I have a future. All this will melt away only when we think about some idea which is larger than the idea of being the body, or larger than the idea of being an individual. And eventually that idea also has to be dropped away. Just as Sat word has to be used to counteract Asat, then the word Sat also has to drop away. And it will automatically drop away when Asat has dropped away. And that is the most wonderful technique that our Shastras employ. No other religion has that methodology. Only Vedanta. Truth cannot therefore become the theme of speech. To express what the truth is by the speech is as absurd as a person attempting to measure his own height by measuring his shadow. Is it possible? The shadow is continuously changing throughout the day. If there is a shadow, if there is the sun out, you go to England for 9 months of the year, there is no shadow. How will you calculate? Are you heightless? Huh? So, don't, in other words, don't assess yourself through your mind. Mind is the shadow of the self. Mind is the shadow of the self. It is impossible to assess the self through the mind. It falls short in every way. So we have to employ such a technique by which the mind drops away. And that is the whole prakriya that has been given in various shastras. Let it be Upanishads, let it be Gita, let it be yoga, let it be Kriya Yoga, let it be Kundalini Yoga, everywhere. The whole process is to dissolve the mind. Dissolution of the mind is expansion of consciousness. So I am very thrilled when in Japan few years ago the minimalist living began. CEOs and big people, they are living minimal. No furniture in the room, only one bed, one table, no collection, no possessions, living in an empty room. We must also live with minimal thoughts. How to bring it about? Vaikhari Madhyama Pashyanti Para. Hold on to the japa, it will happen. The example is continued. क्या टाइम है? हाँ. मग आपुलिया कड़े मावितया से पड़े ते लाज ही आंखोड़े मविती जैसी. Later on, when the one who was measuring his own shadow realizes his fallacy in measuring, he feels ashamed of his action and thus withdraws. Huh? So you were trying to understand. What is understanding? We are ignorant at the moment. Where is ignorance? In the mind. Mind is a product of ignorance only. Now how do you counteract the mind? By the thoughts. Who is doing it? I. What am I counteracting? All other thoughts. This interaction between subject and object is the mind. Aham and idam. See? Then can I sort out the entire world of the thoughts of objects? No. So I come to the principle. What is the principle? Subject, object and instrument of knowledge. So I understand what is the concept, because from many to one. So where is the whole world? It is in the mind. How do you know it is in the mind? Because everything in the world I know by thoughts, and our thoughts are in the mind. Oh, but still, I get too many thoughts in the mind. What do I do? Okay, replace them by the Lord's name, replace them by Om, replace them by Soham, Hari Om, Om Namah Shivaya. Remember, from many to one, that is the way to dissolve. We have not come to the self. We are understanding the principle that we have to come back to the cause. We have to come back. Our purpose is to dissolve the manyness and see the oneness. So all the forms and colors, what is the cause? Eyes. For all the sounds, what is the cause? Ears. For all the smells, nose. Oh, for all the five senses, the cause is the mind. In the mind, so many thoughts are. Now, how do I counteract it? Oh, we counteract it with a thought of the divine or thought of the self. Let's start. There's no other way. This is the way. No, what about puja? What about havan? If you then you are still in the world only. You have not come to understand that the whole world is only appearing as a thought in your mind. This realization has not happened. So therefore, you want to do something out there because the ego is still strong. I have to do something in order for, so you, that process which is as simple as understanding that the whole world is nothing but thoughts in the mind. How difficult it is to understand? No, this will only come about when I do the havan. When I put the ahutis into the fire, then alone it will happen. And then by the grace of the Lord. Why? Objective approach. By the grace of the Lord, then I will come back into the mind. Then I will I am listening to what you are saying, but it will happen only when I do havan, only when I do puja, when I do my Shodashopchar puja, and it goes on. But for an intelligent one, intelligence is also under the cloud of ignorance only. But okay, for intelligent one, understand that these five senses are the havan kundas, and the ahuti of the name, form, sound, feeling, touch, smell, taste continuously is being poured into it. Havan is going on. For whom? For whom? For whom is all this dravya, all these stimuli? For whom are they going into the havan kundas? For the mind. And what is in the mind? There is good thoughts and there is bad thoughts. And the war is on all the time. You have to sort it out. Then you have to choose the good thoughts. What are those good thoughts? They are those thoughts which are able to counteract the bad thoughts as well as the good thoughts. Because within them also there are different good thoughts. Some are transcendent, some are talking about the self, some are talking about do no evil, hear no evil, talk no evil, think no evil. I should compassionate, I have to have empathy, I have to serve. All these are thoughts only in the mind. But these are not going to take you to the self. They are only there for purification. All thoughts are only for purification. But they are very much gross. See? So once we have come to this point, again the same journey as before. Then we focus on the mantra, focus on the japa. From many, it's that simple. From many thoughts to one. From many thoughts of the world to one mantra of the divine. Ramana Maharshi chose aham, what? Who am I? Koham. He chose that. Nisarga Datta Maharaj chose I am that. And he kept working. How I am that? Reality. See? जरा सोचिए, then this person who was trying to measure his own height by measuring his shadow realizes his own fallacy, feels ashamed of his own folly, and ultimately desists from that effort. Where will the effort end? When the subject is searching for an object called the subject. This is mumukshutvam. I want realization. I want to realize. I want to be the self. I am the self. Forgot that what you are doing. All the what was not wanted, that you had done. But all that was not wanted was done only because you thought that you are the mind, that you are the body. You thought that you are separate from the self. And the data that is around you at this gross level, it doesn't reveal that self to you. It doesn't give you that vision. It doesn't give you that disposition. It doesn't allow you to be in that disposition. Even though you are always, but it hijacks. The relations hijack the woman from being a woman. Immediately she becomes a mother in front of children. Immediately she becomes a wife, spontaneously, because she has invested so much into it. Then what happens when we do japa, vaikhari madhyama pashyanti para? We invest into the divinity. फिर उसका पलड़ा भारी हो जाता है. The weighing scale, right now the world is heavy, then the divinity will become heavier, and this will go up. Then automatically all the thoughts will keep going. Then when it automatically goes, it's called ajapa jap madhyama. Understand the whole the scheme. Understand and all this is happening because we think we are not it, what we are searching. But when we come to the climax, where the subject is searching for the subject, wants to be the subject as it is, the I contemplates on I as an object of knowledge. Is it possible? Not possible. Every seeker does that, till naturally it dawns on him that it is a foolish approach. How can I search for myself? I already am. It is the mind which was making that subject searching for subject. Am I the subject? I'm watching this mind is doing it and I'm getting frustrated. Self is not frustrated. And the moment it dawns on the mind of the foolishness of searching, because I thought is also in the mind only, no? So the moment I thought realizes the inconclusive pursuit that it is on, there is nothing disturbing. The world is not disturbing it, the dream is not disturbing it, the sleep is not disturbing the I. Now the I is contemplating on I. Who am I? Why you have to ask? You are already, nothing is there to disturb. But it has to click from inside to this I, meaning to the mind, that I can't, as long as I am having an objective approach, till then I will not be able to come to any conclusion, because I am already, which we keep saying again and again, I am because I think, or thinking is because I am. So this has to click at that time. This has to click when you go into meditation. This is to click when you are in Nirvikalpa Samadhi. If it doesn't click, again the word, Are, bhago, vidhi se dur. Feels ashamed of his own folly and ultimately desists from that effort. Desists from which effort? This I wanting to know I wanting to know I. This effort, when it drops away, objectifying the I. Can the eyes see the eyes? Not possible. Similarly, the I thought, can it come to know the I thought? Not possible. And ultimately desists from that effort. Similarly, Sat Chit Ananda is the shadow of Paramatma. Sat Chit Ananda are words. Words are in the mind. Mind is the, when I use the word mind, it is the shadow of the Paramatma, of the self. Maya is the shadow of the Ishvara. Ishvara is self-established. When he is self-established, he is the Paramatma. When he becomes aware of his shadow, then he is the Ishvara. So this mind is the shadow. And how do you know there is a mind? Because there are thoughts. Or there is silence. So don't pursue silence, don't pursue thoughts. Similarly, Satchidananda is the shadow of Paramatma. How can one know the Paramatma by measuring the shadow? Can you measure the intensity of sunlight by measuring the sunlight on the earth? Can you put all the finites together and come to know the infinite? Is it possible? Can you put all the ornaments together and say this is the amount or this is the infinite gold? Not possible. Can you put all the waves together and say this is the ocean? Not possible. See the fallacy, the inconclusivity in that. How can one know the Paramatma by measuring the shadow? By taking the support of space, time and objectivity, you cannot come to know that which is beyond the conditionings and limitations. In Kena Upanishad, we are looking at the Parabrahma and Saguna Brahma. Unconditional reality and conditioned reality. So the moment you take space, time and objectivity as real, which is in the mind alone, then you will create a conditioned reality and give him a form, or give him some attributes, or give him some qualities by which to relate to. Very rare are the ones who are ready to accept the unconditioned reality which is free of all conditionings. Therefore, no forms, no qualities, and that is what is here in this chapter. Quality of Satchidananda also does not stick to it. It's an abuse to that reality. Therefore, the truth cannot become the subject of speech. The truth cannot be defined by the word Satchidananda. Dekho. What is the greatness of the truth? that it cannot be defined by words? This is explained in the next few OVs. Taisi sattachi swabhave asata tava nave ma sattatva sambhave sattesi kai. Similarly, that which is pure existence by nature, where non-existence is never possible, how can the ever existent require to be referred to as existence? Zara socho, think a little bit. That which is pure existence by nature. Who are you? You are the self. What is not self? The mind. So when you put it up here, where non-existence is never possible. From self point of view, there is no mind possible, no body possible. Remember, the whole creation is only in the mind. So from the self point of view, no mind is possible. Meaning no creation possible. So will ever there be a time, a possibility that the self will need the mind to refer itself to will the self need the mind to refer the self as the self by way of words? No. You have to be in tune when you are listening to what is being told here. The self is by nature infinite. The self by nature is ekameva dvitiya. Meaning the self by nature is one without a second. Will it need? Apply to yourself. You are the self. You are not accepting yourself to be the self. The moment you don't accept yourself to be the self, mind comes in. But now we have studied the scriptures that we are the self. Do you need the mind in order to establish the self as the self? Is the self established because there is mind, or mind is established because there is self? Remember, aprapya manasasa, mind cannot, because self is transcendental to the mind. And does the self establish the mind? No, from the self point of view, there is no mind. From the self point of view, there is no mind. So mind cannot establish the self, cannot comprehend the self, cannot talk about the self, cannot seek the self, cannot realize the self. This is one side. So we have to bring it to that point of climax. We have to bring the mind to the threshold of the self and then drop it. This is what we do by Vaikhari Madhyama Pashyanti Para, or this is what we are doing by word Satchidananda. Just like that pole vaulter uses the pole, raises himself high, holds on to the tip of the pole, brings his body across the bar, and once he notices that every part of his body without touching the bar has gone across, he leaves the pole. Because his goal is not to hold on to the pole. His goal is to be victorious. Same way, our goal is self-realization. We have taken the support of the thoughts. To what point? Right up to the climax. Then we drop. The moment the last thought is dropped, mind goes, mind is dissolved. In its place, now, in its place now, no emptiness, no void. In its place, only the self that you are. See? And once we abide in the self as the self, from that moment onwards, is there a mind? Is there no mind? Are there many minds? Is there waking, dream, deep sleep? Are there many people? Is there space, air, fire, water, earth? Is there past or future? Does it matter? Does it matter? No. This is the epitome. This is the final. Contemplate in this manner. I'm again and again bringing it and putting it across as principles. It is not a person, it's not a personal journey. Don't make it a personal journey. If it is a personal journey, then objectivity will remain, mind will remain. There is no personality here. We are talking mind as a principle. Chalo. हो गया टाइम. ॐ पूर्णमदा पूर्णमिदं पूर्णात् पूर्णमुदच्यते पूर्णस्य पूर्णमादाय पूर्णमेवावशिष्यते. ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः. हरिः ॐ श्री गुरुभ्यो नमः. हरिः ॐ. Sit quietly for a moment.